Hello. That's me in the box you see there. I'm the telepath. Can you see me well? It's hard to see around the box. Well, for this experiment today, I would like to allow the voice of God to speak to you through my voice as you lay with your ears underwater. I've experienced this once while listening to the album by Aerosmith, whatever it was, I do not know. But Steven Tyler's voice suddenly became the voice of God, and I am going to try that today. So, get yourself wet and get yourself underwater, and we shall begin this experiment. You may begin listening to me with your ears underwater at any time. So, I don't know what to talk about. I certainly don't want to interfere with God speaking. So I guess I'll just tell you about my day I had one day. Well, I probably shouldn't tell you about that day, especially while God's speaking through me. Let's see. I was once oh, not that one either. That would be a bad one. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Everything's okay. He's probably speaking through me right now, I'm sure. It's okay. So continue to listen underwater while I speak, I guess. And I'll just sit here and instruct you to stay underwater for a moment. Stay underwater now, my friend. I guess I should just say I love you while I have this chance to talk to you. I love you very much. And God, if you're listening, it's okay if you use that one for me. You can just use my voice on that one if you want. Anyway. So, boy, that guy's probably gonna die. Look at him. Whoa, golly, he's underwater for a long time. Anyhow. Okay. So, once I had a dream while I was sleeping in an apartment on Las Vegas Trail in one of your country cities, Fort Worth to be precise, and I had a dream. I was driving up the road, and I saw the church where I had been raised in, there on the hillside with the mountains in the backdrop. And there was a girl with me who was a very wicked girl, very, very wicked girl in my mind. And she drove with me as we watched the sun and the moon stuck to the canyon of Little Cottonwood Canyon and Big Cottonwood Canyon, frozen in time. They were so large, and the moon was steaming. Well, the moon was smoldering. The sun was steaming. I remember this very clearly. Now, when I got to the mountainside, I'd passed through a hallway up the street there on the foothill, Wasatch Boulevard, and I saw someone nailing Lucy and her friend, Ethel, into some speakers. And I feared that maybe the Lucifer lovers, the Lucy lovers, were going to give word. So I removed myself from this hallway, and I found myself at the foothill of the mountain. There was a young Jimi Hendrix in a blue and white pinstripe suit. He was frantically sweeping at the ground on the foothill. He said to me he killed a policeman. And I told him it would be all right. He's Jimi Hendrix. Then I passed through the dirt where he was sweeping into a hallway. Another hallway, this one black on the right side, and as I looked down on the left side there were limestone walls. and there were slabs of living wood where the wood grain would shift and move ever so beautifully. And as I walked down there, I'd see the limestone going up as far as I could see, and the wood smoking, a panel of wood smoking, and then another limestone section, and another smoking wood grain section. There were about maybe four wood grain sections down the hall. As I approached the end of the hallway, there was a doorway. There was a beautiful woman, probably an angel, very, very virgin-like and very diaphanous in the movement of her robe. It seemed melodic. And so I asked her, as I was moving in frames of time, pressurized by so many thousands of billions of years, every frame and every movement was generated by all the energy that we see here. It felt so. The woman, I spoke to her and asked, "What is this wood grain, this shifting, beautiful wood grain?" She said to me in a very wonderful voice, "Those are the pages of your life." Then she pointed as if for me to enter into the door there on the left. When I did, I saw the ceiling stayed as high as the ceiling in the hallway, just right above the head there, maybe about 10 feet above the head, and the concave cube, amphitheater-like, was carved into the mountain about a mile deep, a mile cube, carved empty space into the hallway, and the absence in the place was the presence of God. And I could hear the breathing of the few people in the back seats. There were seats, theater seats, blue, sparkling theater seats, filling the whole floor of the amphitheater. There were a few people that had arrived in the back row. As I went down, I sat down with them. And one was a person that I had known at the time. His name was Brad Baker. He was telling me that I had not been sleeping because I was on drugs, and that I would probably not get the full experience of this eternal moment that everyone who was supposed to be there would experience. I felt very shameful, as I wanted to be a good example for Brad. And then, as the pressurized frame movement began to level out, and I began to be more real, I looked at my hands, and I noticed and I realized that we are just there for one moment in all eternity, and that one moment will take all eternity. And so I laughed as I looked over and saw the next man entering, moving in frames, and so confused. Well, I knew it would be all right for him, too. That's when I woke up in the apartment of my mom's apartment there in Las Vegas Trail in Fort Worth, Texas. I could still smell the limestone when I awoke, and I could feel the dampness of the cave. I could almost hear the ringing of the empty amplification that pounded my ears while I was there. This concludes our experiment, and I love you all very much. It's my telepathic mission to do so. And I say to you, my friends, be free.